Well, hello there, my young readers, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, welcome. We've got a story lined up for you today that I think you're going to enjoy. So sit back, relax, make sure you've got your snacks, your drinks, and if you need, pause, run to the restroom, come on back, and we'll get started. And remember, stay to the end because Triangel and I, we're going to talk about it. Stay tuned. The name of this story is called Thomas and the Leprechaun. And of course, this is part of the Thomas and Friends series. Enjoy. It was a bright, breezy spring day on the island of Sodor. There was a beautiful rainbow in the sky, and Thomas was on his way to pick up his first delivery. Just as he was about to pull into the station, Thomas thought he saw something unusual. It looked like a little man dressed in green running behind a building. Thomas stopped beside Emily. He was going to ask her if she'd seen the man too when Sir Topham Hatt greeted the engines. "Good morning," he said. "Today is a special day. It is St. Patrick's Day. I need all my engines to make deliveries for the celebration." "You should get your work done early today, Thomas," James teased. "Then maybe you have time to search for the leprechaun's gold." Thomas didn't know what James was talking about. The leprechaun's gold is a St. Patrick's Day legend, Emily explained. They say a little man dressed in green hides his treasure at the end of the rainbow. Anyone who finds it is very lucky. Thomas set out for his pickup, but he couldn't stop thinking about the leprechaun he might have seen. Thomas hoped he'd see the man in green again. Thomas worked hard all morning making his deliveries. After his final drop-off, Thomas got his wish. He saw a flash of green behind a tree before it disappeared. Thomas hurried around the bend. Behind the tree, he found something green. It was Percy. "Thomas, I'm so glad you're here," Percy peeped. He had derailed going around the bend too fast. "I was supposed to pick up the St. Patrick's Day soda bread from the bakery." Thomas loved to help his friends. As Thomas set off toward the bakery, he wondered if he'd seen the leprechaun at all. At the bakery, Thomas looked up at the sky and saw another rainbow. It was even bigger and brighter than the one that morning. After dropping off the soda bread, Thomas decided to follow the rainbow. As he chugged up a big hill, Thomas saw a golden gleam just over the rainbow. Could it be? He wondered. But it was only Rebecca. Her freshly washed yellow paint was shining in the sun. "The washdown took ages this morning," Rebecca said. "I'm supposed to pick up the green St. Patrick's Day costumes at the tailor, but I'm way behind." Thomas offered to help. As he was leaving the tailor shop, Thomas saw the man in green running in the same direction he needed to go. This was his chance. He would follow the leprechaun to the treasure. Thomas tried to catch up, but the leprechaun was gone. The only one around was Emily. "Thomas," Emily exclaimed, "the Irish dancers are here early. Someone needs to pick them up at the docks. Thomas wanted to look for the leprechaun, but he volunteered to help. Thomas dropped off the green costumes and the Irish dancers for the St. Patrick's Day parade. Finally, everything was where it should be. He looked up and saw the rainbow again. It was arching down right at the end of his branch line. Thomas was about to take off toward the rainbow when Sir Topham Hatt came running up to him. "Our guest of honor just got lost on his way to the parade," Sir Topham Hatt cried. "Thomas, I need you to go pick him up." Thomas was disappointed to leave the rainbow behind, but he wanted to help Sir Topham Hatt and the guest of honor. When Thomas arrived to pick up the guest, he couldn't believe his eyes. Standing on the platform was the man in green he had been chasing all day. "Are you a leprechaun?" Thomas asked. "I am today," the man replied. "I'm playing the leprechaun in the St. Patrick's Day parade. I thought I would explore the island before it started, but I got lost. Thank you for helping me." Everyone cheered when Thomas delivered the special guest to the St. Patrick's Day parade. Thomas didn't find the leprechaun or gold that day, but celebrating with friends was the best treasure. Well, that ends our story. And what a fun story that was. Thomas was definitely on the hunt for that leprechaun. What do you think, guys? You think it was more important for him to find the leprechaun or the gold?
You know, in my opinion, I think he was curious about the little green man he kept seeing all over the place. But when he found out more information about what could the little man be, he became, in my opinion, a little bit more interested in that gold, that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Who is not interested in that pot of gold? But what was kind of funny to me was Thomas started to see that little green man everywhere. It was like he could never catch up to it.
He got a little paranoid with it because when he thought he saw the little leprechaun around the bend and he took off after it, he gets around the bend because it disappeared. When he got around the bend thinking that he was going to see him, he saw Percy instead, and unfortunately Percy had derailed. And then again, when he looked at the rainbow and saw that little golden light, he went after it, and when he got close to where the golden light was coming from, it actually was Rebecca. So that paranoia, and if you guys want to know what I mean when I'm saying paranoid, I'm saying he's being a little bit obsessive. If you notice, he's being obsessive through the whole story about that little green man and that pot of gold.
Well, I can't fault Thomas for that because we all have this tendency to kind of believe that wishful thinking of that pot of gold or something like that. I know one of the things I used to look for is, you remember hearing anything about a four-leaf clover? And I would always see just fields of the three-leaf clovers, and I would look through them hoping that one day I could come across that four-leaf clover that would grant me this wish. And I never found it, but that didn't stop me from looking.
Yeah, I fell for that too. I looked for a four-leaf clover here and there. I wasn't obsessive about it. I didn't, have to find it in every field of clovers. I didn't do that.
Well, I didn't say I did that, but, I was very curious about it. But I will tell you one thing, when Thomas tried to, almost every time Thomas tried to look for the leprechaun or look for the pot of gold, a friend or somebody would need his help. And Thomas his nature is always to help. He always want to be a useful engine and it seemed like it kind of got in the way every time he wanted to go on the hunt.
I was feeling a little sorry for him, but I will say, he had a situation that ended up being how you used to say, an all's well that ends well kind of thing. That last time someone needed him to go do something, it actually paid off for him because it solved the mystery. When he had to go and get that last, ended up being that leprechaun he was seeing all over the place. And then the leprechaun told him he was a leprechaun that day. He was just someone who's playing the part, and that he was trying to really get and know his environment. That's why he was seeing him all over the place and really couldn't catch up because, Thomas had stuff to do on his line.
You're right. Thomas was a very busy engine, and because he was a busy engine, he really couldn't dedicate the time to the hunt. But it was really good that he could, see that it gets solved by going to that last one that Sir Topham Hatt, ran up and asked him to do that last minute when he was about to run off for that rainbow.
He sure was. Well, little darling, that is my time. I've got to get ready to go. So I will see everybody in the next episode. Bye!
Well, there goes Miss Triangel. We enjoyed the story. We thought it was a fun story. I hope you guys thought it was fun, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. Well, until next time, my young readers, I am your little darling narrator. Out.